Hi, I am Christine, and I'm submitting this video for the purposes of the invitation to join this contest for Meta One, and the reasons why I'm here. I'm not typically inclined to do videos. I don't like videos. I do not like doing this stuff, but I felt compelled and inspired to do so. So here we are. And the format that I'm going to do this, because I am not a professional and because I am very uncomfortable in front of a camera, I'm just going to go ahead and just go through the questions that were asked to think about while making the video, suggested through the email with the invitation to make the video. Let me just start by saying I'm going to use the directly first paragraph out of the executive summary white paper for Meta One investments. Meta One Coin. Meta One Coin created, and this is directly from the white paper, which I will include a link to the website as well as the white paper itself in PDF format so you can read through it yourself. Meta One Coin created the new financial systems that are based on abundance and equity. Humanity has been enslaved by the old-fashioned system for too long, period. First paragraph, executive summary, white paper, Meta One Coin. That pretty much puts it in a nutshell for my first question, which is what inspired me to join and invest with Meta One. And that would be the abundance and equity for all of humanity. We suffer greatly, and we can prevent that. And this is going forward with the reasons why I joined and invested with Meta One. So freedom, I had to make notes so I didn't get off track here, so forgive me if I keep looking down. Freedom, indentured servitude, these would seem irrelevant and inconsequential in your lives as you live them, but they are extremely prevalent and very deceitful and quite clever in the implementation of us being in bondage. And those of you out there, bonds. Anyhow, this is another reason why I joined Meta One, because they understand the language of money. They understand the language of wealth, and wealth and money are not necessarily mutually exclusive. Anyways, so without going on in greater detail on the banking side, the money side, money is going to create your freedom if you choose to do so. And Meta One gives you the vehicle in which to do this. It's so awesome. So moving on to the next question. And so what inspired you to join? It was private banking. And in the executive summary, they'll go into that a little bit about the charters, the original charters. It's very, very intriguing and interesting. You'll be surprised pleasantly. Okay, next question was, am I a newbie to digital crypto technology? Yeah, I am a newbie. It says a newbie, or are you like an investor and aware of it? I'm like, no, I am totally a newbie with regard to cryptocurrency and the technology behind it. And actually, it's very frustrating for me to make the transition from how we have been reared in this and indoctrinated into using the fiat currency, and not knowing that there is an alternative. However, to use that alternative in using lawful money, if you will, intrinsic value behind it, which is one of the other reasons why Meta One is so awesome, is because they actually have the intrinsic tangible assets that are real and not fiat and not just created out of thin air. So that's one of the other pluses. Of course, if you're a little bit more down the road in your knowledge about the money system and the Coinage Act of 1872, I believe it was, and how Congress and everybody it was designed to be controlled, and it's not at all controlled. And it's and we're paying for it on through our blood, sweat, and tears, and through the blood, sweat, and tears of our children. So think about that. If it's something you're thinking about yourself, oh, I'm too old to get into that stuff. Think about your children. Think about um, the debt that they are incurring, and then their children. We're getting now into your grandchildren that will be responsible for a debt that we are creating today and have created in the past. But I'm going off course. This is the reason why I wrote things down. Um, so, anywho, I am a newbie, and the technology side of it, I'm just getting a grasp of, and I'm learning, and I want to learn, and I want to be free, which inspires me and motivates me to learn, to exist in a world in which we are not in bondage, and that our wealth, our blood, sweat, and tears, is to better each other. First and foremost, our God, my God. I don't know if I mean I'm going to say it right here, and I don't care if you agree or disagree, but that's just my belief, and I'm entitled to that. So, you know, and then to my immediate family, and then to humanity as a whole, globally. You know, I really, really don't like to see the suffering. I'm done. I don't want to see people suffering anymore, and there's no need for people to suffer. We need to take a stand. And getting on to my next question, which is, what have I learned in joining the Meta One family? That there's an actual solution. I have learned to keep my faith and hope in believing in humanity. Something I find increasingly difficult given the circling of the drain in terms of America and all her amazing strength and divine providence. Some say all's lost, and sometimes I get into that, feeling that way. Um, uh, yeah, and so others like myself who have that feeling, and it's really hard to push it back and not be negative and just say, oh, heck with this, I'm going to throw in the towel, live out the rest of my years, just being a good slave. But I can't do it. I just can't do it. As many times as if I try to withdraw from it, it just pulls me back in again because it's just the right thing to do. So I'm not relenting, and I thought that I would take direct action by joining Meta One. And it's interesting, when you go through the white paper, you'll see inspirational figures, historical figures and events that have made a difference in history. And one of them is Gandhi. And I happen to have this writing about, it's called The Doctrine of the Sword. If I can find it, I'll attach it. It's buried in my hard drive. I would recommend reading that because it does give you direct action and indirect action, and during the course of I don't want to say civil unrest, but just basically making our voices heard. And Gandhi has this it's white paper, I guess you'd say. It's called The Doctrine of the Sword. Very, very interesting. And it's just a real easy read. It's only a few pages. Again, if I can remember or if I can find it, I'll attach it along with the website for Meta One. So what I've learned, that's what I've learned. To keep the hope, keep the faith. Meta One does offer the solution to keeping that faith, and it's very exciting. It's very exciting. It's a little complicated. You get into the technology side of it. I'm having a hard time grasping that, but I will, because it's necessary. In order for me, you can't have one without the other. You can't have freedom and liberty, and not and still be under the yoke of the king. So you got to make a choice, and in those choices, you have to make changes, and those changes, depending on how indoctrinated you may be, it's undoing the undoing of the indoctrination is not easy, and you're going to have a lot of chutzpah. Yes, it takes a lot of chutzpah. All right, so and that is, how was your experience with Meta One? Well, the experience with Meta One has been incredible, because for 10 plus years I have been reading, studying, researching, putting into practical application, being free, and getting justice. And yeah, it's just been a long journey. I'm not going to say it was a waste of time, but I will say that I did things wrong at some point in times. I got a little bit too big for my britches, and I thought I knew what I was doing, but they were all very intrinsic in that it really is helping me to understand where I'm going with Meta One now. This is very deep. This is very, very deep. You have to put some really thoughtful consideration into this. You just don't want to go willy nilly. It takes work to be free. It takes work. It takes understanding. It takes knowledge. It takes love. It takes humility. It takes compassion, and that is Meta One. I feel it. I felt it from day one. So that is the direction I prefer to go in, even though my path has taken me down some other avenues that were not quite that. And we won't get into that. And so, yeah, my experience with Meta One has been awesome, and I'm looking forward to even more involved now that I have time to actually read and understand and focus and get my mind right in focused in this journey, in this particular focus, this laser focus, because my desire to be free is so deep and profound, and has been, and to have Meta One offering these solutions, it's just incredible. I'm excited, and that's an understatement. Do I have a project in mind? I have a lot of projects in mind. I always have had a lot of projects in mind for humanity and helping my fellow brothers and sisters. Yes, I do. I have a lot of projects in mind. But most importantly, and I want everybody to consider that's watching this, this is a saying, and I'm paraphrasing, but in order to help other fellow humanity, brothers and sisters in love, you really have to understand yourself first and foremost. You have to put you in a position of living it, and then you can spread it out. So the project right now, and has been for the last 10 plus years, is, well, I shouldn't say that, because I've been in other groups and we all try to help each other, and for one reason or another it doesn't work out. So I decided, you know what, let me go this alone. For the time being, I'm not alone, but really focus on my status and who am I. It's a question that you really need to ask yourself in going through this process. Some of you have already done that. Some of you are ahead of me. Some of you are behind me. Some of you are just starting. Some of you have completed the process. Amen. I want to get where you are. You have to really know who you are in every aspect of your being, spiritually, physically, mentally, emotionally. You have to identify that. And then, so my project is me, and getting that in order. And then the projects that are coming out of that will be incredible, and they will be successful, and we will be free, and we can help each other, and we can live in peace and harmony and abundance and equity. Is again going back to the first paragraph. The new financial systems that are based on abundance and equity. Humanity has been enslaved by the old financial system for too long. So that's that. Okay. And that's my project. And I think that's the last question. Let me go back here and look. Well, all right. I think that was the last question. Anyways, I'm not going to waste any more time, and I've already gone above and beyond the 3-minute mark. So, welcome aboard if you decide to come aboard. It's so exciting. It's so exciting. And I look forward to my complete and utter unadulterated freedom. Peace.